WJBF Live, Viper 6, a clean sweep of the CSRA, finally dry conditions after some rain last night. You're watching WJBF News Channel 6, where you get your most accurate forecast first. Today, a dry day in the forecast. Finally, 70 this morning, 85 at noon, and 90 by 4 o'clock with a mostly sunny sky.
And I hear bang, 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 about 15 shots. I knew exactly what was going on, so I ran.
Now on Good Morning Augusta, another deadly shooting in a school area. We'll bring you the latest details out of Santa Monica, California. And we'll take a look at the latest on Tropical Storm Andrea and where the storm is headed next. Plus, you might be seeing something different as officers are driving something new in downtown Augusta. We'll clue you in this morning on Good Morning Augusta.
Live from Television Park in high definition, the station you count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6. Good morning, Augusta.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning Augusta. I'm Archit Seshadri. Time now is 7 o'clock this Saturday morning.
And I'm meteorologist Jason Nappy. It is just after 7 in the morning on a Saturday. Temperatures are going to warm up today. Will be dry. What's left of Andrea is now just a post-tropical cyclone. So it's not even a storm, not even a depression anymore. And I'm sure we're pretty happy to see that after that rain we saw yesterday.
And I hear some good news indeed in the forecast for at least
very
today.
Good news. At least for one day, the sun's going to come out and we will not see any rain, but rain returns on Sunday, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right, Jason, thank you. We'll check with you soon. New details from overnight. Investigators say someone hit a pedestrian this morning in Aiken County. Dispatchers say it happened on Ridge Road. The call came in shortly around midnight. Now, South Carolina Highway Patrol is investigating the accident. No word on the condition of the pedestrian. And count on News Channel 6 to bring you the latest updates on this story. Turning now to another developing story out of California. At least 4 people are dead after a gunman went on a shooting spree yesterday in Santa Monica. One suspect is also dead. Now, this was the scene from Friday. ABC's Clayton Sandell has more on this morning's big story.
It was a roving, deadly rampage.
And I hear bang, 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 about 15 shots. I knew exactly what was going on, so I ran.
I seen people running, so I was in panic mode. And a girl told me that I had to get off campus because there was somebody shooting.
Police say it all began around noon.
The suspect shot at a passenger vehicle and also at a police vehicle.
They found a house up in flames. 2 dead bodies inside. The suspect then began moving towards Santa Monica College, where students were taking finals. Along the way, firing his rifle at random, killing 2 more people. Car windows were blasted out. Bullet casings littered the street.
And understand, it's not a school shooting too. Unfortunately, this is an incident that began within our city limits at a residence, and it just worked its way onto the school grounds.
Police finally caught up and say the suspect ran to a library building, the whole way firing at police.
The officers came in and directly engaged the suspect, and he was shot and killed on the scene.
A person of interest taken into custody has now been released. The shooting also caught the attention of the U.S. Secret Service because President Obama was just a few miles away at a fundraiser. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Los Angeles.
We'll have much more details on this developing story as it comes into our newsroom. Monster storm Andrea is sprinting up the coast, making roads slick and a watery mess. The CSRA saw part of that yesterday. Andrea set off twisters in Florida and threatens to do the same as it marches up the east coast, bringing flooding rains and shredding winds. So far, Andrea has spawned 8 twisters already.
I saw the wind kick up through the window, and then I heard a big bang, like a huge clap of thunder. I didn't know what it was.
The severe weather has delayed hundreds of flights. Flood watches still remain in effect in many northern cities. Meteorologist Jason Nappy is in the forecast center now. And Jason, the storms that we had, were they from Andrea's directly?
Not directly, indirectly, really coming in on the backside. Really, it was actually Thursday night. That was what we saw from Andrea. Good over an inch solid of rainfall. Beneficial rain. No one is going to say no, especially not the farmers, to the rain that we saw and saw last night as well. About a ½ inch or less. So look at our current temperatures across the CSRA. Nice and mild to start your day. 68 Augusta, 69 Allendale. And here is the radar finally giving a break for us. Change. Nothing to speak of, just a few passing clouds. And the forecast getting up to 85 by noon and 4 o'clock, 90 degrees, right at average for this time of the year, Archith.
Nice to see those 80-degree temperatures back. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and a dry one for a change.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at across the CSRA this morning. A murder suspect is in custody after investigators turned himself into authorities. Darian Williams faces several charges, including murder for the death of Larry Elam. Williams is currently behind bars at the Richmond County Jail. Investigators say the shooting happened at Augusta Estates earlier this week. The coroner says Elam was shot at least once in the neck and later died at the hospital. Last night was First Friday, and it seems like it got off to a pretty good start. More than 40 Richmond County deputies patrol the area downtown. Last month, two men ambushed a couple at the downtown Riverwalk after First Friday. Well, officers are now wearing reflective vests in order to make their presence more visible, hoping that will deter crime after dark. Another new addition to the First Friday patrols are 2 donated golf carts, and Sheriff Richard Roundtree says those carts will allow people to feel safer.
Some of the vehicles we were using before were kind of enclosed, didn't give officers an opportunity to actually interact with the citizens. So, we tested those out today too for sidewalk use, for safety.
The sheriff's office says that this was donated by EasyGo Corporation. Well, Monday, Augusta city leaders will take a look at what is wrong with Riverwalk following several violent acts last month. And 3 weeks ago, we showed you the condition of the popular park. Weeds are taken over, and there are concerns with the brick and concrete work and other maintenance issues. Commissioners, the mayor, and other city officials are planning to tour Riverwalk to see the problem firsthand.
Take a look at some of the things that we can do, preventative maintenance, that we can do, things that we deem to be considerably a hazard or a threat, and things that can make the patrons feel uncomfortable. And so hopefully with this, we can get a concept and get some things documented that we can, I call it low-hanging fruit, we can address and get it taken care of.
While on the tour, Johnson says city leaders will consider long-range plans for the Riverwalk that could be paid for from future tax sale funds. Over in Columbia County, going to see some officers doing something a little different today. If you visit Fats Cafe, the sheriff's office is putting on a fundraiser for the Special Olympics of Georgia. That's going on from 11 until 7 tonight. Officers will greet, seat, serve, and bus tables for customers. All you need to do is eat and leave a donation in the envelope that they'll hand out. And in Martinez today, you can help support the Augusta Warrior Project. You can get a massage and get your car washed. There's going to be a 10 from 9 until 1 at Dynamic Bodywork and Pain Control. You can get free professional massages there, and all the donations benefit Augusta Warrior Project. The Augusta region of the Georgia chapter of the Alzheimer's Association has a new Dancing with the Stars winner. It was held last night at the Bell Auditorium. Elizabeth Beeman and Matt Watson are our new champs. Congratulations to them. WJBF News Channel 6's Jenny Montgomery and John Lynn hosted last night's event. WGAC's talk show personality Austin Rhodes was one of the judges. Local stars spent weeks preparing for this big occasion, but they also realized how important it was to raise awareness and raise money for the cause.
These guys are awesome. Everybody that we ask to be our star ends up coming on to, they know that they have to raise $10,000 or more. Most of them know that and more, but they're doing it for the cause. They're doing it for the right reason.
Daniel Blanton Jr. raised the most money. He raised more than $40,000. Overall, the competition raised $157,000. We also had a great time out there. Well, 2 of our very own are up for Emmy Awards tonight. News Channel 6's video journalist Mark Gaskins is a nominee for a story about Corbin McKenzie. We brought you this story about Corbin and Steve Dement, who are working to compete in Augusta's Ironman competition despite Corbin's disability. News Channel 6's dish host, Jenna Lee Wright, is also a nominee. She told us about Jordan, who suffers from a severe lung disease that keeps her sheltered from the outside world. Jordan receives a dream come true, a trip in a hot air balloon, thanks to the Knights of Columbus. The Southeastern Regional Emmys will take place tonight in Atlanta. Good luck to them. As Tropical Storm Andrea barrels up the East Coast, flash flooding is a definite possibility. We'll tell you where you don't need to be if flash flooding is an issue in your area.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm so nervous. Look at my hand shaking.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
We'll tell you how some are taking a bite out of the cicada population. Stay with us. The cicada invasion is in full effect in Virginia. The tiny creature sat dormant for 17 years before re-emerging this summer.
And some scientists say they outnumber people 600 to 1 in those areas. So how can you reduce their population? Well, it's breakfast time, so you could eat them.
Oh, I'm sure people are thrilled about that. Amy Albert takes a bite.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm so nervous. Look at my hand shaking.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
I don't get too nervous about much.
Look at the legs on this, and you can still see the antenna.
But when we're talking a day between the backyard and your dinner plate, it's a different story.
We're gonna pick the wings. You wanna help?
I don't know. I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I
pick
will.
one up.
Yes, I will.
Chris Dovey is no stranger to the cicadas.
We leave them on?
Yep.
Whew. And the eyeballs stay on too.
The eyeballs stay on.
He did some digging, found online recipes, and rounded up local chefs for a dinner plate in its own league.
We had cicada tacos. Cicada tacos were very good.
He compares the critters to shrimp or soft-shell crabs.
Good thing about cicadas versus soft-shell crab is you don't get, when you eat your soft-shell crab sandwich, the body of the soft-shell crab is...
He also tells me a little fresh veggies and homemade risotto hides the main ingredient.
I thought that they were going to look a little less buggy in the dish, but that's pretty buggy.
With legs and antennas still intact, bon appetit.
And go. Come on.
In Richmond, Amy Aubert.
She finally ate it. I wasn't sure she's going to eat it, but you know.
Why not?
Brave woman out there. Would you
High
eat
in
it?
protein. Would I? There's no way.
Why not? You just said you would. Oh,
it looks good, but I wouldn't actually do it.
I'm sure there are other ways we want to get rid of the cicada population.
Yeah, you could let the birds eat them because that's the natural way that works too. So if you have a bird or you see some birds, maybe call them over, have them stop by.
Hopefully you weren't eating your breakfast when you wrote that story, but maybe you could have a new craving for something new. I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely making me want to have breakfast.
Yeah, I want to eat oatmeal, not that.
Yeah, and we won't be seeing them here. At least that's not in the forecast. They're basically from North Carolina to Connecticut, and that's where the heaviest emergence are now in full mating season.
Oh darn, just thought I could have a cicada smoothie. Well, double trouble 2 times over.
We'll show you something incredibly rare. 2 sets of identical twins born at the same time. That story is next.
But first, flooding is something we've been experiencing this weekend. We'll tell you where the most dangerous place to be is during a flood, coming up next.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
The dry weather is finally back to the CSRA. Average high of 90 today, scattered thunderstorms tomorrow, then heating up mid to even upper 90s in the forecast by the late part of next week. 69 currently at Bushfield, wind out of the west and southwest around 8. It's a nice and mild start to your day on your Saturday morning. 60s and 70s widespread right now as we're seeing very tranquil conditions. A little bit cooler north and west, trying to see some cool air come into the mountains, but along the low country, mid 70s and lower 70s as the satellite and radar is finally dry. I don't know about that. If you were woken up or if you were out last night when that rain passed through, it was pretty heavy at times. And now thunderstorms are gone. They're moving north of Greenville, east of Myrtle Beach, and we're not seeing any precipitation at all for the Tuesday today. It will be dry all day. Great day for those outdoor activities. Maybe go for a run, take the canoe out, whatever you want to do. The boat at the lake looks great. Average rainfall at this time of the month is about 1 inch. So far, we've seen close to 5 inches of rain. That's a surplus of over 3.5 inches. So June, very wet. February was very wet. June's very wet. So we're seeing that continue. Now, what was left of Tropical Storm Andrea is now a post-tropical cyclone, and that's moving into the Gulf of Maine, bringing heavy rain northeast. Stationary front for the southeast. That's going to weaken. We'll get one dry and almost cool day out of it. At least the humidity will be down just about a notch today, and then it's going to ramp back up as we get into tomorrow. So today it's mild. Here's that stationary front just lingering in the north. And that's the dividing line between that cooler air just around the Blue Ridge, and then that warmer air is going to inch its way up today during the afternoon. So you will feel that humidity rise in the afternoon. And we have the stationary front or trough is going to linger on Sunday. Now watch on Sunday afternoon. This is going to fire up more thunderstorms in the forecast late Sunday into Monday. So look for rain to be widespread, scattered thunderstorms into your Sunday afternoon and your Sunday night. Mostly sunny and mild today. 90 degrees for a high, right on par for this time of the year. 84 for the evening, partly cloudy and warm. Nice and dry night, 68, partly cloudy with a calm wind. Forecast 25% chance of rain for tomorrow. Monday, it's a 50% chance with a high of 90, a low of 68. So temperatures are right on par. Some more rain that I can at least say right now, we actually don't need rain right now. Then Tuesday, 93, more rain in the forecast, and then 95 and finally 97. Get to the mid 90s, upper 90s, Archie, for the first time all year.
You know, it's nice to see those 90 temperatures, but, you know, a little bit of showers. I'm sure a lot of people are not going to complain because today is still a nice day.
Yeah, today looks great. Today is the pick of the week.
Absolutely. Well, we are supposed to have a break in the weather, but it is hurricane season, and the rain, as we mentioned, is about to roll in.
Yeah, and did you know that one of the biggest dangers when there is any heavy rain is flash flooding? Especially if you're on the road when the rising water would surround your car, then that would leave you trapped.
Absolutely. Well, you know, ABC's Matt Gutman shows us what can happen and how to get out alive.
Wipers working furiously, the rain blinding. Like this veteran storm chaser, we've all driven through it, but even the best can get caught in flash floods. On average, more than 100 Americans die in floods every year. The biggest danger is on the roads.
Water is just pouring into the street!
In April, Houston police had to rescue 150 people trapped in their cars.
Started pouring, couldn't see anything, we were driving real slow.
Flash floods can swamp your car in mere seconds. And just 18 inches of water can lift an SUV. The water will easily heave your car sideways, even rolling it over, possibly trapping people inside.
There can be all sorts of hazards lurking in floodwaters. One of the problems is you think you're in water that's just 2 or 3 inches deep, when in fact it's really a couple of feet deep, and your car can stall in just 3 inches of water.
So if you're on the road, tune into the radio.
We've got a flash flood watch in effect. Heavy rain and thunderstorms that could cause street and highway flooding.
And take those flash flood warnings seriously. Keep an eye out for water pooling on the side of the road, and don't drive through water.
Car is sinking. It's to my right. It's up to my right. It's going down fast. I can't get out of the car.
This demonstration shows how fast water floods a car. If you find yourself in deep water, rescuers say you have 60 seconds to save your life by unbuckling your seatbelt and getting out the window. If you have children, get yourself out first, then pull them out. Split-second decisions that can save your life. Matt Gutman, ABC News, Sanford, Florida.
Well, that was incredible video there. Just kind of shows you how quickly things can go wrong and if you don't take those warnings seriously.
Yeah, and there is no bigger weather-related death or killer than flash flooding. So anytime there's flash flooding, anytime there's a threat for flash flooding, take the warning seriously. And as you saw there, you have 60 seconds or less to get out of that car because those doors are not going to open with the amount of water pressure on the doors. So you have to get those windows down and get out.
Absolutely. Well, stay safe and I guess some good.
Yeah, no rain in the forecast today, so that's great news.
Well, it was a big night for a pair of former local high school baseball stars.
Plus, the oldest player on the field, that Palmetto amateur, certainly had some interesting stories to share with his younger competitors. Sports is next.
Now, sports coverage you can count on.
It was a big night for a pair of former local baseball players. Former Midland Valley and USC Aiken Pacer pitching star Taylor Grover was drafted in the 10th round of the Major League Baseball draft by the Boston Red Sox, and Bamberg native and Tennessee Volunteer Zach Godley was picked by the Cubs also in the 10th round. Green Jackets back home last night, opening a 3-game set with Lexington. First inning, Martin Augusta on the mound, Raul Mondesi with a shot to deep center, but check out Jesus Galindo with a nice running grab to get the out. Scoreless in the bottom of the 4th inning. Andrew Kane changes that. Chopper to left, scores Steven Braca, takes the lead for the Green Jackets. They cruise 4-0 was the final. We now know it was concession stand money issues that led to the surprising firing of Greenbrier baseball coach Chris Wilkins. That's at least according to the termination letter sent from Principal Seagraves to Wilkins on Thursday. The letter reiterates what we had already reported, that Wilkins had been warned about the concessions balance ending in a deficit 2 years in a row. According to Seagraves, for the 3rd straight year, that balance was in the negative more than $1,600. The letter makes no mention of any other reasons for dismissal. Wilkins still isn't speaking publicly about the firing. Game 1 of the Gamecocks Best of 3 Super Regional Series at North Carolina yesterday was postponed till today. Just too much rain from Tropical Storm Andrea. Greenbrier's Nolan Belcher will start the series opener. Game 3, if necessary, will now be on Monday. The tropical storm also washed out the third round of the Palmetto Amateur, so they've cut down the field after 2 rounds of play, with 69 players making it to today's final round. They'll go off both tees starting at 9 o'clock this morning. One of those 69 players around for today's action is Augusta's Jeff Knox, the oldest player in the field at age 50, and as a club champ at Augusta National, he served as the marker at the Masters, getting to play with certain pros the past decade, but he's used to playing with younger guys, and of course, he's got better stories.
Usually after the round, we'll have a couple of discussions about my experiences there, you know, playing as a marker, and it's fun to share those stories. And some of the guys that I'm paired with, you know, I guess they can't believe that I actually do that. But you know, it's nice to have a few stories in your back pocket to share with the guys.
Yeah, he played with Bubba Watson this year. Second round of the FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis. What a round for former Georgia Bulldog Harris English on the par 4 fifth. His second shot from the fairway. The 23-year-old has 3 top 10s this year, and this will certainly help his efforts towards another. Holds it out for the Eagle, 6 under 64 for him. English sits at 10 under to lead by 2. A trio of local guys at 2 under. Scott Brown, Patrick Reed, and Charles Howell. Vaughn Taylor in at 1 under. And speaking of Taylor, he tweeted out this picture yesterday from the St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis. Taylor volunteering his face for the kids. His tweet simply said, "I think the tour needs to reevaluate its sponsor program." And that is a look at your morning sports.
Well, let's take a look at this morning's Did You See That? Well, the odds of having 2 sets of identical twins from the same pregnancy are staggering. Just 1 in 70 million. But it happened to a couple in Ohio, and now they're blessed with 4 young boys.
That's great. 2 identical boys. Meet Kenneth and his twin Colton, and then there's Bentley and twin Griffin. The quads are now 7 weeks old.
The tiniest was born at just 1 pound, the biggest at 2 pounds. Now they're a little bit bigger, 3 to 4 pounds, and the babies could come home around what was their original due date in July. That's exciting. I didn't know that you can have 2 sets. Very interesting. I've never heard about that before.
Yeah, I guess there's pretty much no limit to what you can do.
Well, you know about the twins and triplets.
Right.
I just assume they'd all come together, but you never know.
I'm glad that they're healthy though.
Exactly. Very hoping that they're okay and no kind of issue.
Everything works out there.
Well, a couple of sporting events going on today. You might want to check out the Garden City Classic Boxing Invitational. Kicks off at 3 o'clock. That is over at the Warren Road Community Center in Augusta. Tickets are $15 for adults, $10 for kids under 10. Proceeds benefit the Grubel's Fighters Fund.
And over in Aiken, the TNA Impact Wrestling World Tour will start at 7:30 tonight. It'll be at the USCA Aiken Convocation Center. And for those who don't know, TNA Impact Wrestling can be seen on Spike TV Thursdays at 8.
Some good bunch of sporting events going on here locally as well.
Yeah, who doesn't like wrestling, right?
No, absolutely. Well, when we think of a veteran, we think of someone who helps others.
But coming up, we'll show you one vet who's getting some help of his own.
They try to go through it and they can't go through it. The water's higher than the car.
Latest on Tropical Storm Andrea headed your way. That's next as Good Morning Augusta continues.
WJBF Live Viper 6, a clean sweep of the CSRA. Finally, some dry conditions. You're watching WJBF News Channel 6, where you get your most accurate forecast first. Morning sunshine giving way to clouds during the midday and afternoon, 85 at noon, and by 4 o'clock, 90 degrees with a southwesterly wind.
Live from Television Park in high definition, the station you count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6. Good morning, Augusta.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Good Morning Augusta, and thank you for staying with us. I'm Archit Seshadri. Time now is 7:34. Let's take a look at what's happening across America this morning. Investigators say at least 4 people and a gunman are dead after shooting in Santa Monica, California on Friday. Authorities say the man killed his father and brother in what began as a domestic situation. He then shot and killed 2 other people before police shot and killed him at the Santa Monica College Library. Police say the gunman acted alone, and investigators have released a man who had been detained as a person of interest. A grand jury returns a 142-page indictment against the man accused of keeping 3 kidnapped women inside his home for several years. Ariel Castro's indictments only cover the first 5 years of captivity. Castro is charged with 139 counts of rape, 177 counts of kidnapping, and 2 counts of aggravated murder for forcing Michelle Knight to abort a pregnancy. The 3 women abducted were Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJuices. Castro's lawyers and other attorneys call this an unprecedented case. Former South African leader Nelson Mandela is back in the hospital this morning. The presidential office says Mandela is in serious but stable condition. He is able to breathe on his own. The 94-year-old has a history of lung problems. And Tropical Storm Andrea is moving up the east coast, and as we know, it is weakening, but still expected to douse the region with a lot of heavy rain. Now, Andrew Spencer shows us what the storm left behind when it hit landfall in Florida.
Toppled trees, flooded roads, and choppy waters. These were Tropical Storm Andrea's parting gifts as it moved through Florida. Governor Rick Scott urged people to get ready for more of these kinds of storms.
Yeah, this is a reminder for all Floridians to get prepared, to be ready for hurricane season.
Those trying to heed that advice had to drive through flooded streets. Those who got into the water quickly found themselves tossed around by the wind and waves.
When we went out there, it wasn't nearly this bad. It was kind of not too windy, and then as we started getting out there, it kind of just hit us like a blast.
The first tropical storm of the season also spawned 2 tornadoes. One hit Fernandina Beach. This woman was there on vacation. She describes the moment the tornado hit.
And I looked out the window, and it was literally like it was coming off the ocean. It was so fast. It was like 1 minute it was calm and you could hardly hear anything, and then all of a sudden it was like whoosh, you know, and there was everything just was everywhere.
She wrote out the storm in a closet. She says it's her first encounter with such severe weather.
I'd be all right if I don't experience that again, actually.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Now, Jason, you know, we had a little bit of Tropical Storm Andrea earlier on this week. Out of the area for now, you know, what about the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, left on Friday morning. Now it's just a post-tropical cyclone, not even a storm or a depression moving through New York City and Boston. So folks up there see some rain. Back here in the CSRA, temperatures into the 60s and 70s to start your day. Very comfortable on your Saturday morning. Look at our temperatures. There they are, 72 in Barnwell, 70 Allendale. A little bit cooler north and west. Crawfordville at 66, Washington at 68. The satellite and radar is clear, so all the rain we had from Thursday and Friday is now gone, and it will be a sunny sky all day, 85 at noon, and by 4 o'clock, 90 degrees, right on par for the average this time of the year.
Just look at those temperatures. You can't go wrong with that, right?
It's a picture-perfect day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, helping one veteran to see again after losing his vision. That's what one extra special dog is doing. We'll bring you the inspirational story of man's best friend coming up. Plus, how much do clouds weigh? George Escala takes a look out there somewhere. Dogs are said to be man's best friend, and that is certainly holding true. Now to one veteran who lost his sight. He is getting a new pair of eyes. Kent Pierce reports.
You chewing on my cane there, buddy? You chewing on my cane?
Bradley Snyder came to Bloomfield to meet a new helper, companion, and friend. A guide dog from Fidelco is going to be all those things for the former Navy lieutenant. He was on patrol in Afghanistan 2 years ago when a roadside bomb went off, hurting others.
While we were attempting to render aid, I failed to identify a secondary device located in close proximity and sustained some blast injuries to my face.
The blast took his eyesight, but a guide dog will give him back his independence. Right now he lives with his brother in Baltimore, and maybe Gizzy will go back with him. Or maybe it will be Houston. Either way, Bradley won't pay a thing.
It's Fidelco's duty to serve our blinded and wounded military heroes, and we're just delighted to be able to provide Brad with the German Shepherd guide dog that he's always needed and wanted.
But there's more to it than just choosing a dog. It's as much about training the person as it is training the animal. So they're actually going to spend 3 weeks with Bradley at his home in Baltimore. That's when the dog will learn the route to the pool, where Bradley is training for the 2016 Paralympics in Rio. He already won 2 gold medals in swimming at last year's games. Is the dog going to have to swim too?
That'll be between Brad and his dog, whether they spend time in the pool or not.
The rest of the time, Brad travels to tell his story.
And having a dog will be able to allow me to do that independently. I don't need to use a guide, and I'll be able to hop on the train myself.
He speaks all over the country about overcoming obstacles. Now he'll have someone who can see where those obstacles are. In Bloomfield, I'm Kent Pierce.
Well, we see them all the time in the sky, sometimes in some pretty crazy shapes. We're talking about clouds. But one might just wonder how much these clouds weigh. Well, we take George Escala out there somewhere to find out.
And an almanac page, 88 degrees yesterday. Look at how much rain, over an inch, almost an inch and a quarter. Will we see any rain in the forecast today? I'll have that next.
Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
And the dry weather finally back here in the CSRA. The average high is 90. We'll be right at there today. More thunderstorms tomorrow and then heating up mid to upper 90s next week. Get ready for some warm temperatures finally. 70 for the temperature that's currently at Bushfield, up a degree from an hour ago. And we're seeing the 70s and 60s across the CSRA. A nice mild start to your Saturday morning. A little cooler north and west as we had a front try and make its way here, but now it is stalling out over Augusta, and we will not see any more cooler air make its way down to the CSRA at all today. It's going to warm up significantly with the sun out right now. You're seeing the satellite and radar is dry, so no rain after those thunderstorms moved through last night. They're now well north and east, moving north of Greenville and Columbia. So really nothing on the satellite and radar this morning except for a clear sky. You can do all of that outdoor activity today. Maybe cleaning up the yard, going to the pool, up to the lake. It's really going to be a picture-perfect day. Probably the picture of the forecast picture of the week. So I'd call it pick of the week. Rainfall, speaking of that, running a surplus of over 3.5 inches so far in June. June just getting underway here. We've seen plenty of rainfall, and that will not continue today. Today is our break in the rainfall, so all those outdoor activities look great. We have a stationary front, which tried to bring some cool air here, but it's not. It's just going to give us one dry day, then that moisture comes back up from the south. So let's look at our SATRAD forecast and show you that just passing clouds today. For a change, you do not see the green, the yellows, and the reds, which would mean rain and thunderstorms. Not today, not going to happen. Just a lot of sunshine across, McCormick, heading up from the lake all the way down to Sylvania, down to Waynesboro and Swainsboro. It will be clear all day and for the afternoon, warming up nicely. I know right now a little bit on the cooler side with the humidity levels a little bit low this morning, but it's going to warm up, and I promise you 90 by the afternoon. Mostly sunny and mild. Southwest wind 5 to 10, so upper 80s and 90 today, then 84 for the evening, mostly cloudy. Partly cloudy and warm, partly cloudy for the overnight at 68. Next 3 days looking nice, 90 for a temperature in the afternoon. Sunday a 25% chance, 50% chance on Monday. And Live Viper 6-day forecast, 93 by Tuesday, 97 by Thursday. Finally seeing some warmer temperatures. It is time for True-False Weather Wisdom. You have a 50% chance to get this statement right. Was it true or false? The sun has solar cycles that last about 11 years.
Well, that is an interesting question. Kind of a tough one. I'm going to actually say true.
That is correct. They last 11 years, and when we have those solar flares, you might hear that radio waves, cell phones start to go out.
Right.
When we have some of those with issues with that. So yeah, it's along the same wavelength, and that happens pretty frequently. We've seen that happen over the past couple of years, actually a couple times. So.
Right, and we did have a weather question this morning from one of our viewers this morning about that flooding video that we showed earlier. What happens, the question was when you're trying to get out of a flood in 60 seconds and some of the newer cars with electric windows, how do you still get out?
Yeah, and I just answered that on Facebook. Always go to our Facebook page. If the power goes out in your electric car, then you need to break that window. So maybe it's around bringing something with you that you can break a window. Obviously, you don't want to be caught out in a flash flood, but emergencies do happen.
And the important thing is make sure you pay attention to those flash flood warnings.
If you see water rising, then you need to get out of that car immediately.
Right. All right, we'll be right back after this break with a look at your local headlines. Stay with us. Coverage you can count on continues with a look at this morning's top stories. Investigators in Aiken say someone hit a pedestrian around midnight this morning. Dispatchers say it happened on Ridge Road. South Carolina Highway Patrol is investigating the accident. No word on the condition of the pedestrian. We passed June's first Friday without any reported issues. More than 40 Richmond County deputies made their rounds downtown. Officers are now wearing reflective vests to make their presence more visible, hoping that will prevent crime after dark. Another new addition to the First Friday patrols are 2 donated golf carts. Over in Columbia County, you're going to see some officers doing something a little different today if you're out at Fats Cafe. The Sheriff's Office is putting on a fundraiser for the Special Olympics of Georgia from 11 until 7. Officers will greet, seat, serve, and bus tables for customers. All you need to do is dine in and leave a donation in the envelopes that they hand out. Well, in Martinez today, you can help support the Augusta Warrior Project, get a massage, and go get your car washed. There's going to be a tent set up from 9 until 1 at Dynamic Bodywork and Pain Control. And as we mentioned, you can get a free massage there, and all those donations benefit the Augusta Warrior Project. Well, they're light, well, they're fluffy, and they seem to blow with the breeze. We're talking about clouds this morning, but have you ever wondered how much they weigh? You find out from George Escala out there somewhere next.
Welcome back. The next 3 days, it will be dry for today, but then a chance for rain tomorrow, 25% during the day, and then closer to a 50% chance late in the day tomorrow, and Monday, 50% chance of rain as well. So we'll see rain chances going up with 90s in the forecast the next 3 days. Looks
good temperatures
nice.
there. You can't complain with that, right?
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, clouds, they're fun to look at. They stir the imagination. They, of course, create shade and make the rain.
Yeah, but have you ever wondered how much the clouds weigh or if they weigh anything at all? It's a question a kid might ask, or a classic out there with somewhere with George Escala.
Jason Dickerson and his daughter Charlotte came to the lake to be by the water and underneath the clouds.
It's been 95, 97 degrees, so it kind of cools it off a little bit.
And those big puffy clouds, the cumulus ones, can be a comfort during a day at the lake.
Sometimes they keep the sun from blocking in your eyes a lot.
Yes, clouds block the sun. They can also entertain.
They could be in different cool shapes.
Sure, clouds can take on cool shapes. I saw one the other day that looked just like George Myers, but not the cloud the issue. I was wondering if these big puffy balls of cotton actually weigh something. How much?
I don't think so, no.
Would they weigh as much as your sister? So they don't weigh much?
No.
It holds water, so it does weigh something.
According to the website Green Earth Facts, with all that water, a cumulus cloud weighs 2.2 billion pounds.
They got my sister beat.
I've never actually thought about how much weight a cloud weighs.
They still float by, though.
Yeah, that's impressive.
They can be ice cream castles in the air, but weighing in the billions of pounds. You thought you did, but you really didn't know clouds at all. Out there somewhere in Columbia County, George Escala, WJBF, News Channel 6.
Yeah, I had no idea what 2 billion pounds, very hard to believe, wouldn't have guessed that.
That's a cumulus cloud. Now, the way you can kind of relate to that is think about when it rains, how much water comes out of that cloud.
Right.
So it just comes down, and it can come down for hours sometimes. So
Right.
you get an idea. That's how much water is rising. So there you go.
Absolutely. You know, the only thing that I know about clouds are different types of clouds, but that's it. I don't know anything more about the weight or anything.
Today, fair weather, cumulus clouds.
Nice day and nice cloud. There you go. Well, that is a report for this Saturday morning. Have a great day.
No rainmakers today. Have a nice one. 2.2 billion.